That's right. It's all new. Hello, everybody. It's the Rock On Radio Show. Here we go. I know. Some people think rock on radio should be rock music, but I did that last week. So anyhow, hey. Hello there. I'm Tim Darnell. I am your host for the Rock On Radio Show, and sitting next to me is my lovely wife, Liz. Say hello.
Hello. Well, hello. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Oh, we took care of that with some lovely
We're all good.
T-bone steaks on the grill.
It was wonderful.
Oh, yes. Okay. But today, I want to share with you another part of my life and our life at the Rock of Central Florida. And part of that life is the school that the church started, 11 years ago?
11 years ago.
11 years ago. And my wife, Liz, here is the headmaster of the Rock Academy. Right. So I want to do a little bit of an interview and share with you folks and get out there in an area where maybe you don't know we even exist or that the school exists. We want to talk about the type of school it is and a little bit of the history. But let's go ahead and start with history of TRA, of the Rock Academy. I'll call it TRA for short, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But Liz, what year did we get started with the Rock?
We actually opened in the fall of 2009, and it had been just a dream of mine. It actually had been prophesied to me by a friend who really mentored me. I had been a teacher, but she really mentored me in administration and showed me the importance of really strong leadership in a school. And I was able to watch her navigate school administration and learn from her a lot. Her name was Sandy Dotson. And there came a point where she basically handed me the reins and said, there's going to be a school. There's going to be a school in the future, and you're going to be the one that ran it. Well, I'd only ever seen myself as her sidekick, so I was pretty amazed. So I began to learn and to glean, and God provided amazing people in my life, like Margie McCombs and Martha Hogue and just Linda Reichert, many others that were just instrumental in shaping my approach to school administrators, being a school administrator, and just what I believed about my position and my purpose and my calling concerning school. I didn't want to do school as usual. I did not want to do, I have to tell you, my viewpoint of Christian education was pretty low, because most of the Christian schools I had been exposed to were just like public schools, but you could carry a Bible and they had chapel once a week. But there really wasn't any difference in the way that they operated. And I always felt in the core of me that as kingdom people, as believers, that we should be the ones being the innovators and trying something that, not just trying something like a shot in the dark, but hearing and knowing that there's a better pathway and a better way to connect with students and parents and to make school a really great experience. And so that's what we set out to do. And in 2009, the opportunity became available to do that through our church, the Rock Church.
Awesome.
And
let me jump in here real quick and kind of catch the folks up, since they're just getting to know me and getting to know who you are through this program. And the thing, what actually got you started in education to get to this place? Because we're going to talk a little bit about how long the Rock's been around, the Rock Academy has been around, and that. But I wanted to kind of set people up with where we came from, what you and I did after we got married and had children. What got just a little background there.
You mean, back when we were young and stupid, that's what we always say. You know, when you're young and stupid when you first get married, but you think you know everything. Well,
I just got old.
I was in school, and I'd always known, even before I was a believer, I'd always known that I was a teacher. Right. And honestly, I can be in Walmart and I'll be showing somebody how to do something, and it's just part of the core of who I am, and I enjoy it and I love it and feel called to it. But we got married. We started to have young children. I had not been raised in the church. So I'm watching the church people that were not part of my growing up. I didn't know church culture. I didn't understand denominations. I was saved, and gloriously so, and loved the Lord with all my heart, loved our church.
Right.
Grateful for every moment we ever had with all of those people, and amazing, amazing years. But the one thing I noticed was that children in the church got to be about 16, 17, 18 years old and then started to just go wild. And I came from wild. So I thought it would be different in the church. I mean,
yeah, you'd
they
think.
they have Yahweh, they have Yeshua, they have Holy Spirit, they have all these tools. They have this wonderful bond with parents. They have all the things I didn't have. And I just thought that raising children, educating children would be different. And so I was really quite stunned. And Tim and I spent a lot of time just discussing this. His dad was a pastor, so he had a completely different, viewpoint than I did. And I just kept saying, I just can't accept the fact that no matter what we impart into our children now when they're very young, and they were preschool age, that it's not going to matter, that they're going to go this way anyway. And, well-meaning Christian people would say to me, well, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he'll not depart from it. And I know they meant it from their hearts in a really good way, in a really great place.
Right.
But for me, I thought, but do we have to accept that they're going to reject everything we pour into them and go wild, and then someday, because we drag them to church, they're going to turn around and miraculously become believers and productive members in the kingdom, not just society.
And love God. We've talked a lot about, as we were coming up, raising our children, coming to that place where Yahweh or God, the Father, we come to a point where he was no longer mommy and daddy's God to our kids.
That's right.
That they had to accept that he was their God as well, or in their own life personally. And that was a concept the church really wasn't teaching, and schools certainly weren't doing that. Like you said, we'd bring a Bible to school and we'd have Bible class.
Right.
We'd see that. And that's how we talked about Christian
and
school.
we went to church, and they had youth group, and they had all these things. They had all these Christian things.
Right.
But I just didn't see at that time. And listen, I loved those parents. This is no reflection on those parents. We walked with some really great people. They loved their children. They did everything they knew to do. I was just the newbie standing on the outside going, I thought it would be different once we got in here. But I remember,
I think we both did.
I love, it's in 2nd or 3rd John, I can't remember, but it says, I have no greater truth than this, but to know my children walk in truth. And that's really what I wanted. Whatever they did with their lives, Tim and I committed that whatever they do in their lives, we want them to walk with the Father, as Tim just said, as their God, to hear on their own. And of course, that's a process that takes years. That's why we raise children over time. That takes a process of introducing them to him and them watching us hear and obey and listen. And
what? You mean it doesn't happen overnight?
It does not.
No, it
and there's
doesn't.
no formula for it. That's the one thing I
Right.
am able to tell parents now. There's no magic formula to raise a child. It's hearing. If there's a formula, it's hearing and obeying, doing what he
Exactly.
asks you to do, even if everyone else thinks that's not the right choice, which is kind of what happened to us.
And so far, I've had on the show, I've just spent some time introducing the folks to where we've come from, how I got started doing this, and part of that was, a lot of that was just raising a family and not putting them on a school bus and sending them off to public school. We did that growing up. That's how we went to school.
I absolutely loved public school. I was.
Well, that's one of us. Okay. I mean,
I loved
I
it.
enjoyed recess and lunch and band and choir.
I loved school. I've always loved school. Even as a 6-year-old now, I still love school. I think I will always love school. It's just, I mean, I had no perception of the public school as evil. I had no.
Well, it wasn't. We were there.
It wasn't that. It's just that we knew that we didn't know the pathway. We didn't know the way to do it. And so we listened to the mentors and the leadership that God had placed in our lives. And then I can remember Tim and I, we had a little tiny trailer that we lived in. And I can remember kneeling down in prayer, literally physically kneeling on our knees, just praying, because this was a big deal to us, where we were going to send our kids to school as they approached school age years. And I just wanted to know the pathway. I didn't care if every other parent had missed it innocently. I didn't want to miss it. I wanted to know exactly what we were supposed to do with these two children that God had given us. And I knew that I didn't know, even though I was a teacher. I honestly didn't know. And
but you weren't raised. You weren't when you went to college. You weren't going to be a teacher.
Yes, I was. Yeah, I was. I was in education.
But you ended up in music. How did
No, I was in music education.
Hey, well, see what I know? 40 years later.
40
I
years
did know
later,
this.
and he doesn't realize that I was in the College of Education Music Conservatory. It's okay.
That's
it's
where
all
we
right.
met. I was more interested in her,
I
not in
went
education.
to school. I went to school to be a music teacher. That's basically what I did. But in music college, you have to take all the education courses and all the music courses,
Right.
and it's a wonderful adventure. Extremely difficult, but it's wonderful. And I had not yet taught in a system. I had
Right.
just been through my schooling, so
interrupted
that's where
by
we were.
interrupted by life. We got married. Things turned around, changed.
We
a
got
little bit.
married. We
Yeah.
had children very quickly, and here we were. What do we do? They're about ready to go to school, and we cried out to the Father, "Show us. We'll do whatever you say. We'll do it." And little did we know how that one prayer and those choices were going to literally change the course of our lives.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, we think of God doing in the big things, but I'm telling you, it was on our knees in that little tiny trailer asking him, where do we send our kids to school? What do we do? That he put us on this pathway. And
and by the way, the little tiny trailer kept getting smaller as the kids kept getting bigger. So we had to do something as well with that. Because when she says little tiny trailer, it didn't start out that way. Just when people start growing, there's not enough room for anybody.
Yeah.
But
it was always pretty tiny. But it's okay. We loved it. We're grateful for it. I don't ever
where
want.
we started.
I don't want. As we're telling our story, I don't want anyone to hear or imagine that they hear in my voice any kind of regret. I have no regrets. We have been on just an amazing pathway. And I literally, when I tell you that I am grateful for every part of it, even that little tiny trailer, I was so grateful for that. I'm grateful for the home that we're in today, believe you me. But I loved that little trailer. We learned so much there. And that one prayer of what do we do with our children as they come to school? And the Lord made it very clear. I don't know how he speaks to you. He speaks in a wide variety of ways. You might hear somebody else say something or read a scripture, or it just drops into your spirit or whatever, however he speaks to you. But he dropped it into our spirits that we were to homeschool.
What?
And I was devastated. I loved public school. I loved school growing up. I saw homeschoolers as odd and didn't know anything about homeschooling. And I really was very, very disappointed. And I am going to tell you the truth. There were many tears. I shed tears over that decision. I had my father look me right in the face and say, "You will ruin your children. This is a bad idea."
I remember that conversation.
We had opposition from people that were very near and dear to us. And it was very difficult. And then you have to realize, you said to the Father, "We will do whatever you ask us to do."
That's right.
And little did we know that home education would be the vehicle that literally took me to my life's calling. Something that people don't explain to you when you're young and stupid. I guess maybe we're too stupid to understand
People are still explaining it
when
to
we're
me.
still really little.
Yeah.
When we're young, not little, but we were young. Is that you have life in seasons, and there is a season for rearing children. And there was a season that I was home, and I was a homeschool mom many, many years. And then now I have this career, and I have as long or longer in the career portion after our children had grown and gotten married, longer in this career portion than I ever had in the homeschool portion. So anyway, and you have to understand that we homeschooled prior to computers, prior to phones,
prior to maps. I mean,
we had the library, and we had other homeschoolers. There were very few publishers that would even sell to a parent. They sold to schools, but not to parents. And so very early on, we realized the importance of forming schools that could be a covering for homeschool parents who were extremely serious about educating their children. And we had the privilege of walking with some of the most amazing families I have ever met. To this day, I'm grateful for everything they taught us and walked with us through, and all that we learned. And
you've got to understand something, folks. We came into homeschooling when homeschooling wasn't cool. Okay, it wasn't, hey, we can do this.
That's true.
And of course, I'm going to talk a little bit later about what's happening now, where everybody's homeschooling because they have to. But back then, you didn't have to, but you had to be careful. There was a lot of rules and regulations that nobody was enforcing necessarily, but somebody was keeping an eye on you, and you had to be careful.
The truth is, prior to the homeschool statutes being written in Florida, it was I would say it wasn't so much rules, it was gray area. So homeschool families back then, we imposed very high standards on ourselves because we always had this inkling in the back of our heads that because there really was nothing written in law, that at any moment someone could come knocking on our door and they want to see what you've been doing and how you've been doing it. And so we became really great record keepers and planners. I had lesson plans that were just astonishing because I wanted to do a good job with my children, number one, but number two, if I had to prove to somebody that we weren't just sitting home and watching TV, that I needed to show my plans, my curriculum, our activities. We organized science fairs. We eventually organized several private schools that helped house homeschoolers, which really led me to the hybrid or university model school, which is the Rock Academy that I run today.
And many ingredients and many formulas and things that they're doing now at the Rock Academy, all of this came from this birthing of deciding to do 40 years ago, or almost 40 years ago, to how to do education with our kids and what was going on. And we're in Central Florida, so it's different in this state. Other states, it can be different as well. From what I can understand, though, I mean, a lot of people are homeschooling now, but I want to talk about the model you were just talking about, and there is always and Liz, correct me if I'm wrong. I know you will. But there's always been this classification of education. In other words, you either homeschooled, which not many people did, or you went to public school, which everybody did, or you attended a private or parochial school. Mm-hmm. That's your choice of education.
Right.
The cool thing about the Rock Academy, after all these years of doing this way, trying this model, trying that, this works. Sometimes this works for this child or this family, and it doesn't work for another family. But what we've come up with, what Yahweh has put in right in front of us, and we've been building on that, is the Rock Academy, which is an education. It's not a system. It's a way of life.
It's a model. It's definitely an education model, but I want to say right up front, I did not come up with this idea. I was given the amazing opportunity to work at the International Community School with Margie McCombs and Carrie Baker, so many incredible people there. They really brought this model from the community schools in California and other places. They really brought this model to Central Florida. And I happened to be there from day one of them planting the community school. Mm-hmm. And I taught there. I think I was there a total of 11 years as well, 10 or 11 years there as teacher and as high school administrator. I administrated for them. But I've got to say that's really where this whole picture of hybrid schooling, and what I mean by that is parents who have a passion and a desire to do what's best for their children gets partnered with people in professional education that know how to break down lessons, that know how to teach and to train and to identify struggles and help students overcome and provide a pathway to college or career, whatever it is. That we need both. And I always say to parents, God did not give children to institutions. He gave children to parents.
Oh, wait.
No one has a child's best interest at heart like their parent. No great teacher, no one has a child's best interest at heart like a parent. And I didn't want to start, when I came to the community school, I realized, wow, they have found the perfect blend of that parent's passion and professional teacher. And that's really where I honed a lot of my beliefs and personal philosophies about the way education could be.
Right.
Believing that education is never one size fits all. It's for those who are called to this model of education, we have a good one. And then in 2009, when I was given the opportunity to open a school at our own church, I went ahead and took that opportunity. So I took what I learned. And then in the last 11 years, I have just, again, worked with amazing teachers, worked with amazing leadership, met hundreds of families,
Right.
and the Rock Academy is what it is. But I just want to say that and give honor where honor is due, because I did not make up this model, but Yahweh has made our school our own. It's not just a copy of where I had been before. There's definitely
Right.
some very big differences about the Rock Academy, but it is that blended university model education program.
So you're telling me that the absolute first responders or the teachers for our kids are the parents?
Parents are a child's first and best teacher always.
That's excellent.
Always. And if you can work with a parent as a partner, and it's interesting because I don't agree with every parent. I know they don't agree with me.
No,
there are
it's-
times when I disagree with, let's just say, their parenting choices,
Right.
At our model of school, we honor parents. That doesn't mean that we agree with everything. And there are times, to be honest with you, over 11 years, there have been times when I haven't been able to continue to partner with certain parents.
Sure.
And we've decided to go separate ways. There's no doubt about it. But the vast majority, that's a very small number, but the vast majority of parents, we find a common ground, our faith, number one, our passion for these children and their purpose and vision, number two, and we will commit ourselves to upholding one another in order to get the job done. And that isn't a job, honestly. That is, that's just an adventure every week.
No, that's true. We also were able to, Liz and I were able to make a way for our children to teach their children who are going to be teaching their children, because this is what they know now. They know this model, and it's going to change. It's going to take on, it's going to metamorphose. It's going to change. It's going to move into a different type, and whatever they do, right now, we a couple of days a week in the building, and a few days at home, and then there's some blended classes where you come, to do things. It's not that parents don't know how to do these things; they're just afraid they don't know how. And so, what I watched over the years, now I'm the guy that drove Liz to all these places because I'm not Mr. Educated. I can do a checkbook pretty well, so don't mess with my checkbook.
That's true.
But this is our math teacher over here. She never did major in music, but she can play pretty well too.
I did major in music, and I was a musician for years.
Yeah, but you didn't.
But that
you
wasn't
didn't
my
graduate.
long-term
Yeah,
calling.
on
I
that,
loved it, and
I keep getting this wrong. I'm really in trouble.
just yeah, you need to do your show prep a little bit more.
I did. I wrote it down and I didn't even read it. Okay, hey, I'm learning.
So anyway, I just I absolutely do love what I do, and our program is very individualized for students. I have students that actually are never on campus. It's 100% a distance program. Even prior to COVID-19,
Right.
I had students that were on a distance program because we could custom a program for them, and it was right. It's what fit them. I have some students that do all of their schoolwork on campus, and even then they do a portion of it at home under the direction and coaching of their parents. And then I have some students that just come because they're educated at home. But let's just face it, it's tough to homeschool chemistry if chemistry is not your thing. It's
Amen to
hard
that.
to provide, if your child is into theatrical, the fine arts and theater, it's hard to provide that opportunity when you're just at home. I mean, you can only
Right.
do so many plays in your own home, which, by the way, we did many when our kids were growing up.
We have video.
However, yes, we do. However,
Video, what's that?
when they partner with us, we can provide. We have a wonderful theater department, and they can, really find their wings in performing, singing and dancing and musical that we do each year. And we teach chemistry, and we teach upper math, and we teach all the things that are difficult for a parent to get ahead of. And while there is virtual education, there are virtual classes, which we also incorporate, some virtual classes. It is difficult sometimes with those foreign language, upper math, upper science, to learn all of that when you're just in front of a computer and don't have the opportunity to engage with a teacher or with other students. So we provide an avenue for those students to learn those upper classes as well.
Well, you mentioned a few minutes ago about the COVID-19 climate we're in right now. We're probably in our, I don't know, 6th or 7th week, maybe longer, of being away from campus and everybody being in their house. And we're starting to get, things are starting to go back to a little more, I'd say normal, but we're not going back to school. You're going to finish out your school year
Right.
on doing the Zoom project, which is kids log into on the computer to her class and all the other teachers, and they do this. This is what I wanted to let people know. The Rock Academy was fully prepared for this thing, and we didn't see it coming, but we were preparing for it. Not only the Rock Academy, but our house, the Rock of Central Florida. Steve Parker has been preparing, and we have been preparing for many years with the live streaming that we do on Sunday mornings. The Rock Academy has been dealing with individual kids, how to do education virtually online, and how to do remote teaching and training. And so when this happened, and now it wasn't easy, but we weren't surprised by it because Yahweh wasn't surprised by it.
Right. And
So-
we operate at the Rock Church in a climate that's one of never getting stuck in a rut, always looking
Right.
for the better way, the new pathway,
The next thing,
the
yeah.
thing that we're supposed to be doing in this new season. And there's new seasons all around us all the time. And we're always forward thinking and not afraid to do what no one else is doing, to be honest. If no one else does it, fine. If it's what we're called to do, that's what we're going to do. And I think that's one of the reasons it was a little bit more smooth for the Rock Academy, because we're already a very flexible program whose parents are very involved with the education of their children. So
Right.
we weren't trying to get them to buy into any of this. They're already in. So it was, I thank my faculty and my parents and the students. We continued on our regular schedule. So if you had my Algebra 2 class at 10:30 on Mondays,
It was at 10:30
it's
on
still
Monday.
tomorrow morning at 10:30. They will be live on Zoom, and I will be teaching just the way we have. We had to figure out how to drop homework off into Dropbox and do all those things. And there were some technical glitches. I won't kid you. There were some long days trying to get this all set up and going. But ultimately, we're going to finish on time. We're going to finish strong. And, I'm very proud of our whole program, the way we've moved along.
I just wanted to let people know, and the reason I had Liz on here with the Rock Academy, it's a plug for the school, because if you need someplace, we're in Central Florida, so you can get a hold of Liz. I'm going to have her give you the address, website, email, and all that in just a second. But we're available. There's space still for next year,
Oh, yes.
right? In different classes, and she can explain that in a little bit. But we want to let you know, especially you Facebook folks who are popping up and saying hello to me, that this is here. It's not something we've been hiding under a bush. This is our going on our 12th year. Is this 11?
Yeah, we're
Year 11?
completing our 11th year right now.
Completing
So in
the
the
year.
fall, we'll begin our 12th year.
Right, and that it wasn't just a, hey, here we go, we started a school. This was the vision of Steve and Kim Parker when they
Yes.
started the Rock. They told us that, and Liz, we were a part of that back before it was even conceived.
Yes.
It was just dreamed of. And that's how dreaming works. That's how vision, that's how purpose comes about. You might be sitting where you are wondering what is your purpose. And maybe you're in education. Maybe you're trying to teach your kids or help them with things where they are. Maybe where they are isn't working out, or maybe it is. We're not here to say this is better than something else. We're here to find the path that works for your child. And this is what I loved about what Liz did as she came up. I watched this because like I said, I'm the guy in the background. I ran a lot of sound, did a lot of conferences, drove people around, went to a lot of, I actually taught English twice, and my daughter never forgave me for that.
Yes, at home. When we homeschooled, there were times when Tim had to step in and teach. Yes, and the kids still talk about it.
No, but what happened? I watched this thing, this model, and my wife and the kids and the schools, the system itself, the building of the kingdom, and inside or we were inside the kingdom with the Rock Academy, and I'm involved with it fully now with the drama. I love it because I can do things with my daughter and my wife, all my children are involved in this drama. These dramas, and we just have a great time. That was my major in college.
Not just drama. He's talking about our theatrical production. We have a theater.
I want to mean
theatrical
drama
production.
like drama.
I was gonna say,
we got enough drama.
No,
we don't have that.
We produce musicals every year with the
Yes.
school, rather large productions. For such a small school, it's rather a large production. But it's what our family has always been involved in, being musicians, being actors.
Right.
We've always been a part of that. So our kids really didn't know any different growing up, and we love it now.
This is the cool thing about having a school like we have, and that is we were getting ready to do a production a week ago, 2 weeks ago, was supposed to be performed. We had been working on it since just after Christmas, going into the third quarter at school, and we were in it. I mean, and we were down to the point where my daughter Kaylee was saying, "You got to get this together. We're got only a couple weeks left," this kind of thing. And then boom, everything stopped.
Yeah.
Everything stopped. And guess where everything, all of the sets and all of the music equipment and all of the paint and everything was left on our porch. Anyhow, that's where we do our drama.
That's where we do it, yeah.
Okay, and it's great. That's where we do all of the production work with everyone. And everything got stopped. It's okay, now we can't do this anymore. And so had a few meetings, got with Steve Parker, the pastor, and said, we'll move it to the fall. And it didn't take long. It was just, the transition was fairly easy. The cool thing is we've got all the stuff ready to go. We just got to rehearse.
I know the kids were disappointed. We put a lot of time in, but we're not abandoning the project. We'll
No,
just be
by no means.
We will be presenting the Enchanted Bookshop in October this year. So tickets will go on sale, and they'll be on. I don't remember the exact date, but we will have it on our Rock Academy website, and there'll be tickets available. And it's really an exciting adventure.
Nice lead in to the Rock Academy website. Tell the folks how they get in touch with you. How do they find you? How do they talk to you about this?
Before I do that, if you're home educating now, either because of COVID or because you are a home educator, just know there are days. I just want to encourage you. There were days. When I cried thinking, what have I gotten myself into? But far more, there were days where I was able to witness things in my children that I knew I would have never had the privilege of seeing had they been educated someplace else. Then when you watch your own children choose to home educate their children or participate in the Rock Academy like ours are, and you realize that they're doing this because they loved it and they want the same relationship with their children that we have with them. And so you begin to see the fruit multi-generationally. And I just want to encourage you, whatever you're doing in your children's lives right now, there's fruit at the end of it.
Right.
Just don't get overwhelmed. Don't let the situations overwhelm you. If you're interested, or even if you don't enroll with the Rock Academy, if you have questions or are interested in alternative forms of education that are really quality and outstanding, I would love to talk with you. There's many more things available in the state of Florida than maybe you're even aware of.
Sure.
And you can go to our website, which is www.therockacademyfl.com. And you'll see all the contact information is on there. You'll see our programs and everything about our school. We do a certain amount of training through our website. So if you're interested to see what our math classes do, there's videos on there. There's the whole course overviews for all the courses for next year. And the website recently changed in December. I worked on it over the Christmas break. So there are some parts that I will fill out over the summer, but the website is up and functional, and you could find a lot of information out from there.
And really the timing of this show, having Liz on, actually my first interview of the new Rock on Radio show, I don't say it accidentally happened, but my guests for today, we had to change. Things happened. We changed around. The neat thing about the Rock itself and the Rock Academy is we move with what's moving.
Right.
Whatever changes, we don't go, oh, I can't do that now. We don't do that. We were brought up in a place where, okay, what do we do now?
That's right.
Where do we go next? And I had the word to do this morning, and so here we are this afternoon. And I think this is important because this time, actually, according to Liz's schedule, I'm a little late getting the school out there because
No,
she
it's
started
fine.
for next year way back in January, starting to think about the next things. Okay, so you learn those things as we go, and so you're in a good time. I love putting this out there, not because it's her school, it's our school, it's our church, but just that you people know that there's more than what you see available, or more than what you may know, and the great thing about the kingdom is you don't have to know everything
Right.
to do this. You just have to know who knows those people, and that'd be Yahweh. And you check him with Holy Spirit. You ask him, what do I do with my kids? I don't know what to do. And Liz has been a part of situations that had to be adjusted and changed and fixed in moments. And I call it rescuing. We've had that a little bit.
Well,
but
literally from the moment we prayed that prayer about what to do with our children, he spoke homeschooling to us. I look back now over 30 years, and I think the places I've been able to go, where I've been able to speak,
Sure.
the tables I've had a seat at, across the state. I've worked with accrediting organization, FCCPSA. I will put in a plug for them because they are amazing. But I've been able to work with them and learn so much and really make a difference in lives of hundreds of families across the state, all because we said yes to homeschooling. It seemed like just a small thing, but literally when I say it became the vehicle to my life's work, that's exactly what it is. I love sitting down with a parent and just sharing with them what's available and how they can participate in their child's education. And it isn't one size fits all. And being able to give that hope and direction to so many families, it's really all, when you think of it, it just really all came from an act of obedience and a prayer that came from the passion in our own hearts concerning our own children. And now it's literally ministering to people all over the state.
And I think one of my favorite things that she shares with me after a school day or after having some meetings with parents, one of the greatest joys is looking at people come in. Some of them come in just absolutely panicked. What do I do? Where do I go?
Some do.
And this is Miss Calm over here. She does. She knows how to act and correspond with people. She knows how to treat them as worthy. Sometimes you can go into a meeting with educators or anybody, a banker or even your pastor, and not feel like they're even talking to you. But it's a skill set with Liz here. She can do that. And one of my favorite responses is when we see the sigh of relief on parents' faces when they realize we can do this.
We can do this. Mm-hmm.
It's a turn. When you see the turn and okay. And sometimes it doesn't work out the way you planned it there, but it does work out because you made a choice to go ahead and not just force something down your children's throat, or you tried to go direction because your neighbor went that way, or the school system said you had to do this. Right. You heard the voice of the Father, and he gave you a way. He's not going to leave you. He's not going to forsake you. He is always there. And so that's what I've always loved to watch. The results of the Rock Academy. You, off the top of your head, how many graduates have we had in these 11 years?
It's about 32, I want to say. Yeah. Right now, I think it's about 32. But if I could say one other thing real quickly, I realize that our model of school, the Rock Academy, is really geared for a parent to be at home during the hours that their children are home to oversee, because there is a coaching component and a homeschool component that works hand in hand with our professional teachers. And I do understand that there are parents that have to work. So we are also beginning, we started this year, starting a traditional 5-day a week. And we started with kindergarten, and every year we'll be adding another grade.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So in the fall, we have our kindergarten, and we now also have our new first grade that will be starting in the fall. And so
and what do you have?
There are two different demographics, but there's two different needs. The goal of education is the same, but the way we do education can be very different. Right. So we are building the 5-day traditional, and we are also developing the hybrid, what we call hybrid or university model that we've been doing for 11 years. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, and then you started with middle school and high school, right? I mean, that's where we started.
Right, that's where we started.
So we're kind of building it from the other end, but it's really we're building our own school with the kids coming up from very little coming up, and we're going to add grades every year as we can, and.
Currently, I know this can seem confusing if you don't know our model. Currently, we have K through 12 on our hybrid model.
Right.
It's just for our younger ones. It's completely a homeschool classroom where we help oversee and we help you with curriculum. We help you in every aspect of record keeping, everything. We keep a transcript. We help you. Starting at 5th grade, we have classes on campus, and students come up from 5th grade to 12th grade. Again, they can take advantage of those or not. They can still continue to homeschool. But we have just started a traditional 5-day-a-week on-campus kindergarten this year, and we're adding 1st grade next year. So we literally have the two schools are growing. Again, the goal of the education is the same. The embracing of the parents and our philosophy of parents coming first and honoring God in all that we do is exactly the same. It's just the way that we do the classes for the two different situations is different.
Absolutely. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming on today.
Thank you.
Sharing about the Rock Academy, mostly about that you don't have to be stuck if you feel like you're stuck, or if you're looking for quality, something that's really going to push your child into a higher place, a new place. We've got that to offer, and I just wanted to have Liz on today to tell us about it. And every time we talk, and we try to do that once a week at least over breakfast, and find out there's so many new things in education, and we're pioneering that. We're seeing that at the Rock Academy. We're seeing that and during this COVID-19 that the world had to pick up, and all of a sudden everybody had to homeschool and do virtual school and do all these things. And so it was really exciting to before something happened, we were prepared for it. So thank you for coming on.
You're welcome.
This is the Rock On Radio Show. And my name's Tim Darnell. This is my wife, Liz. And we will see you next time. See if he's going to roll out here. On the Rock On Radio Show. Thanks for tuning in.